Who is the last Jedi in Star Wars? Is it this BB-8 bootleg? Probably not. So we've got another electronic BB-8 ripoff, this time called Walk Robot. Walk Robot. That really is the perfect name for a BB-8 knockoff, isn't it? I have no legs and I must walk. Tumblr? Aw, crap, I've offended BB-8. So this is a Star Wars knockoff that felt good enough about itself not to bother changing the name. But they used the Star Trek original series font for Walk Robot. Though, to be fair, BB-8 is my favorite Star Trek character. Star Wars Measure of a Droid was really interesting, where BB-8 had to fight for his right to party. Walk Robot is apparently supposed to walk without legs, though some people might call that rolling. And this is a BB-8 knockoff that is apparently good enough to do the magnetic head or something so it'll stay on as he rotates around. We'll see. This is a Star Wars bootleg made in China that came to me directly from China. It being called Walk Robot is pretty much the best part of this box, since every side of it pretty much says the exact same thing. Here's Walk Robot BB-8 out of the package, and yeah, his head is magnetized on, though the magnet doesn't go everywhere across his body or anything like some of, the official BB-8s do, so I think his head is just gonna kind of spin around is probably all they're really managing. Oh, top of the morning to ya! Heads off! Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Oops. Broken. Walk Robot BB-8's got a bit of weight to him, which is pretty different compared to Roly-Poly BB-8, who is pretty lightweight. Walk Robot's got a speaker near its crotch for its supposed music functions. We'll see if that's much more impressive than old Roly-Poly's, which was absolutely nothing. Roly-Poly BB-8 was apparently supposed to play the Imperial March while it blinked its lights, but I guess mine was broken or something, so that's a shame. Probably safer for copyright that he didn't get to play the Imperial March while he blinked, though, which, by the way, he won't do anymore. Not like I've been sitting around constantly playing with this either. I guess he just drained his batteries sitting there. Anyway, back to the BB-8 I'm supposed to actually be talking about. The detailing on this one looks kinda silly. It's just the big, thick black lines and the fact there's no depth to anything. I'm sure since it's supposed to roll around a bit with its electronic function, they didn't want to make that more difficult for it, but I think the detailing could have looked a little less like a drawing. And a really simple drawing at that. Get your head back on. Walk Robot is ballin', man! And he's balanced kind of strangely so that he falls off the table really nicely. Walk Robot takes 3 AAAs. Kinda greedy. But at least it's easy to change the batteries in this one, unlike Roly-Poly. So let's see what the silly Walk Robot does when we flip its switch. Well, this one plays music. Not Star Wars music, but it certainly plays something. I assume it's supposed to do a bit more than just be a vibrator. Maybe I'll put it on a smoother surface and we'll see how it does. It's kind of hard to get Walk Robot BB-8 to do anything other than a kind of moon vibrate. The head on the magnet also seems to kind of like to shift around very easily, which means the head will sometimes kind of get stuck facing one way. So, vibrator robot probably would have been a more accurate name for this toy, though I can see why they didn't want to go with that one. Geez, even the boast that the head will rotate was kind of a bit much for this guy. The way it's balanced, too, is kind of weird, as it often makes it kind of get stuck just leaning over. Maybe he's supposed to be in, his roll mode, going across the sand. I can kind of hold his head on to make him look like he's doing stuff more impressive than what he really does, though. Woo, look at him go! Woo, BB-8, he's walking! Well, you can tell by the way I use my walk, I don't know how to walk. I'm a walk robot. I don't have legs, doesn't make sense, but this isn't the song that I play, because it's alright! It's okay! No, it's not! Oh, crap! So the song that Walk Robot plays while it kind of vibrates around in agony is Ivan Polka by Hatsune Miku. So if you couldn't tell by that name, this is Japanese, but it's by a humanoid persona singing synthesizer. So maybe they chose that because, BB-8's artificial intelligence, so is this song. I'm sure that's giving it too much credit. Much like everything on this box gives this toy way too much credit. But if you ever wanted a BB-8 that kind of vibrates around to some anime girl synthesizer song, Walk Robot is there to fill that need. The detailing looks a little too simple, and while I like the head sticking to the body with a magnet, it really doesn't do too much to utilize this fact with its electronic functions. The part the head magnetizes to in the body doesn't slide around or anything, so all the head can really do is kind of spin around as it vibrates. And while I can get the walking robot to do some of its so-called walking, it is quite finicky to actually get to move with its head facing forward instead of it moon vibrating. And of course, a lot of the time, vibrating robot is all this is. 6. They did at least try to make a cheap electronic BB-8 that could move around, even if it's not quite the best execution of it. Also gotta love that he lights up and plays some tunes. 6. Well, I think you had to know that a lot of the weirdness on this one would come from that song choice. The fact that there's songs put out by a fictional anime girl character is kind of odd in of itself too, of course. But then on top of that, we've got a Star Wars droid claiming that it walks to the tune with no legs. The little part of Miku Hatsune's Ivan Polka that it loops is at least quite a happy tune for this droid to sort of dance around to. 8. I wish we had some nonsense phrases on this box. I mean, besides it calling BB-8 a walking robot. Though, I do love that it's the Star Trek original series font used for this. Nothing more Star Wars than Star Trek. The two sides of the box are almost the exact same, except for one side has a red lens flare and the other a blue one. Cause, Walk Robot BB-8 is the best cop. 5. I don't know how many people would want a BB-8 that sorta bounces around a Miku Hatsune. Though, I'm sure this product would have its audience. I mean, the hologram of the anime girl certainly does at its concerts. Anyway, if its detailing was a bit better, I'd give it average. But it's not, so 4. And the bootleg zones overall is 6! It's another electronic toy that mostly stands out for the silly song that it plays. If it had moved around a little bit better, I might have scored it a little higher.
Disgraceful. Star Wars and anime have no business being combined together. Why, you little son of a bitch, me being a Pokemon master has nothing to do with anime! I have had enough of your sass! Go, Blastoise! Kill Walk Robot! Have mercy, please. Ow!
Look, sir, droids!
I told you to tell me if you found useful droids, not these anime pieces of crap! Ah! Sorry, my grandson gets his temper from me, you know. Oh!